Wow, the second video of the year is another Civ video, just like last year. It's almost like I ran out of ideas for filler before Season 2 starts. If you've played Civ at least once in one flavor, then you've pretty much played them all. Sure, the meta will get tweaked from game to game, things will get prettier, new units will get added, but for the most part it's pretty much the same. They're all historically based expansion, 4X, strategy, RPG game, whatever you want to call them. They're pretty much all the same game, just, improvements as time and technology gets more advanced. They're all historically based, they're all period accurate to the most part. They all have at least one completely overpowered unit that just completely breaks the flow of the game, or they have one massive bug that just completely ruins the game in some way. Like, my personal favorite was in Civ 5 when I was playing with friends and discovered that you could submit a trade request to them for something simple, like, let's say, open borders. Something pretty simple, right? And then if it's a multiplayer game, you could actually go in and edit your request for trade before the other person could get a chance to look at it, and that would actually let you accept the trade on their behalf. So you could literally go in, edit the trade, so that way you took all of their cities, gold, strategic resources, open borders, science, all of it, and they can't do anything to stop it. It's great. And the best part is, that's still in the game after I've been playing it for, 4 years now? And I bought the game, 4 years after it came out. When did it come out? 2010? So I got it, in 2012, whatever. Point is, it's still in the game. But there's one major inconsistency in the lineup, and that's Civ Beyond Earth. I mean, it's basically just Civ 5 in space. I mean, what's not to like? You fight aliens and you build gigantic robot death machine with flamethrowers. It's great. What's not to like? Besides everything. Okay, I'll give you that. There is a lot to not like, but there is a lot to like. So let's take it one step at a time, let's dive in, and let's take a really good, hard look at the kind of black sheep of the Sid Meier's Civilization franchise.
Let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, it's Civ. Yes, it's in space. Yes, it ditches historical settings for sci-fi on an alien planet. We get it. The areas where it differs are actually really refreshing. It treats the meta more like a continuation, where tech picks up relatively around where Civ 5 ends. You don't have to research boats or the wheel, but you will have to rediscover certain technologies like networks or the mag rail due to, the challenges of not being in an Earth ecosystem anymore. The meta of the game is where most of the game's tweaks are. Right off the bat, you'll probably notice that the combat got a major tweak in that face-rolling everyone that you meet is much harder and it's much more of an investment. Combat favors the defender heavily this time around, meaning that while you can build a defense force without too much of a production or money investment, planning to be conqueror of the known world requires you to focus that way from the beginning, which does help prevent the game from dissolving into a unit production pissing match near the end like Civ 5 always seemed to. The AI still sucks massive dong whenever it comes to hostilities and friendships, like usual, with them getting pissy over little differences, like how you choose to treat alien life on the planet, or simply looking at them the wrong way. And speaking of alien life, barbarians have been replaced with the planet's indigenous life forms. They range from simple creatures you probably wouldn't want to really mess with when you first land, to things like the ranged manticores that toss molten piss on you, and swarms of flies that will just show up and ruin your day. You've also got things like the worm, which is literally a gigantic tunneling worm that just destroys everything in its path, and miasma, a tile hazard that damages you until you either develop the tech to remove it or to adapt to it. In addition to the new hazards, there's a new affinity system. You can select one of 3 paths in the game: Harmony, Purity, or Supremacy. Harmony focuses on blending their own DNA with the native species on the planet. Purity wants to convert the planet to a replica of Earth and to keep their heritage intact, and Supremacy is after cybernetic implants and freeing humanity from their primitive bodies in order to escalate to a machinery-laden paradise. Units will change as you progress further down the affinity you choose, visually and in utility. The leaders you oppose will also visually change, as will their style of communications. The more down Supremacy someone goes, for example, the more cybernetic they will look, sound, and act. It adds an interesting dynamic for sure, and it can really change how you play. It also affects your endgame goal. Purity seeks to re-establish a link with Earth and to organize settlers to come to the new planet. Supremacy wants to open a warp gate and free humanity from their organic bodies into a more technologically integrated life form, by force if necessary. And Harmony wants to transcend the human existence into a single consciousness with the planet. There's also two other ways to end the game. One is your standard domination victory, where you'll have the only capital remaining, or you are the only civ remaining depending on how you set it up, and there's a new victory condition called Contact. This ending results in you discovering a signal in space, decoding it, and building a beacon for a superior alien race to find your planet and establish first contact.
That's what they came here to do, stop first contact.
Outside of all of that, the game is similar to Civ 5. A little too similar for some people. I've seen some people refer to this game as a glorified Civ 5 mod, and I have to disagree. I mean, in a technical engine sense, yeah, a lot of the underlying code is similar to Civ 5, but a lot of it has changed as well. Just enough to fix a bug people were abusing for custom leaders in Civ 5 that completely ruined my awesome mod I was trying to make. Ugh. And to me, it's more important how the game plays, and not if it looks similar to the last one. There are a ton of subtle meta tweaks I can go over here, and we'd be here for hours. Most of them I love and appreciate as they fix a lot of the bullshit from Civ 5. Civ 5 is too easy to just kind of click on things and go through the motions instead of actually planning out your city construction and managing an army. It's a very bad habit I've fallen into while playing, but to be honest, in Civ 5 there's really no reason to be doing anything else. Beyond Earth forces specialization on the tech tree. It forces you to play smart and manage your army intelligently, as it's far too easy to go overboard with army creation and then start losing money and happiness whenever someone attacks you and you want to enact revenge on their city next. That is, unless you've spec'd into the proper, supremacy and military social trees, giving you more abilities and bonuses that cater to a larger army. It feels very rewarding in that sense, much more so than Civ 5, where it actually feels like you're building your Civ along the path to what you want to accomplish, instead of just kind of picking up everything along the way for some inane 5% bonus to production just because you can and you don't have anything else for your units to do. On the tech side of things, it's a little less well polished. I don't know if it's a driver bug or an issue with the new NVIDIA Share or whatever, but I've had the game crash on me at least 5 or 6 times this recording run. Hard enough that NVIDIA Share and Steam Big Picture mode would also crash due to the driver stopping and recovering.
Oh dear God.
I'm also not able to change any of the graphics settings. If I do, I get another driver crash after a few minutes in-game. The game also scales pretty poorly with resolutions. I wish I could scale the HUD without changing the resolution. Playing on 1440p is a really nice scale for my monitor, with the HUD elements being smaller and I can fit more options and more text on the screen, but on my TV, 1080p is still just too big from the couch. It's a bit better now that I sit closer in my new room, but it's still far from ideal. Just let me scale the HUD and we're all good here. All in all, I do still really like Beyond Earth. I haven't played 6 yet, so that one might still change my mind, but at this point in time, Beyond Earth is my favorite to solo play in the series. It now feels more like a chess game than before. It feels more like when I first got into Civ and I was playing Civ 3, where each move was important and it required at least a vague thought about your plans and your city construction. And it's a great shot in the arm to keep me going until I can buy Civ 6 and all the DLC for $8 in 6 years like I did with Civ 5. However, with all the driver crashes and graphical weirdness, in addition to the scaling issue and Civ's netcode just kind of being utter balls at this point, I'm not a huge fan of multiplayer with this title. There's just too many chances for something to happen ending the game before we're really ready for it to end. Pick it up on a Steam sale, definitely worth it, especially if you can't quite justify the retail price of Civ 6 just yet.
Now that the episode is over, I think it's about time that I give you guys an update on JamesAtGames, the show that you're watching right now. The thing. You clicked on the link and you did the thing, and now you're here. God, I'm funny. As I'm sure the astute among you might have noticed, I'm filming in a different location than I have been. Well, that's because I've been doing a lot of changes in preparation for Season 2 of JamesAtGames. Most notably of which is I now have a room dedicated to all of the video game stuff and all of the filming. So, there's going to be a lot of little changes that's going to make the show go a lot better and also make the production side of things go a lot smoother. Like I can wire my new NES that I got for Christmas. I can now capture card that. Wasn't able to before. I can now record the Dreamcast. I can record Dreamcast, PS2, Wii, NES, whenever I get one SNES, you know, it's just, I have a lot more options that way. I'm hoping to get a VGA converter box as well, so I can actually record off the Packard Bell and do a lot of old school 95, 98, you know, like that kind of like old school, even older than that, like DOS games and just, you know, like classic PC gaming as well as classic video game console, and now modern PC gaming and modern just everything. So I just do it all now. This video is great. I don't know why anyone watches this channel. Some of the setup is indeed temporary, like the shelving that I have all my consoles on. I'm just kind of using that temporarily because it's actually part of my computer desk until I can find like a bookcase to put all my consoles on that has enough room and is vertical stacking and all that stuff. But until that happens, you know, like, we're still working on it, but yeah, Season 2 is actually right around the corner, believe it or not. In fact, I believe it's actually the next video. That was a really terrible tease, but that's okay. You should hit the subscribe button down below so that way you don't miss the beginning of Season 2, which may or may not be about alien isolation and the first Alien movie. It's going to be great. I totally just knocked the filter off my light, and I'm being blinded right now. So it's probably a good idea for me to end this video. So if you like this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Check the description for links to the game to both Steam and any other website that I can find it on. Maybe Amazon for like physical copies, maybe GOG, I don't even know if they sell the game, not important. Leave me a comment down below if you have some ideas for Season 2 or games that you want me to cover. And with everything said, I will see you guys next time. Oh, before I go, actually, I do want to say that starting with Season 2, I believe that I'm going to start uploading to do with the PC as well, my main channel. Just because the channel at JamesAtGames just isn't growing, whereas me not touching Dude with the PC in the slightest is still gaining subscribers daily. So it's like, why fight the flow, you know? So I think going from this point forward, JamesAtGames will just be kind of like a special subset of Dude with the PC. And I'll just kind of focus on one channel, so that way I can kind of keep the momentum that that channel has and just go from there. My baby is screaming, so I'm going to go take care of him before this video goes on too long. So with all that said, guys, all the same shit that I said already, it's great. I'm gonna go take care of my baby. See you guys around. Hey, Jonathan. You wanna say hi to the camera? Do you wanna say hi to everybody? Wait. No? You're not gonna do it? Okay. I thought I'd try. But there is one inconsistency. I need to read the rest of the line before I just speak. But there's one inconsistency in the lineup, and that's Civ Beyond Earth. But there's one major inconsistency in the lineup, and that's Civ Beyond Earth. Spoiler alert, I loved it.